Okay, so here we are in the actual inside of the sports barn now. You did sit up there on them benches, so hopefully you can see that we've got a different type of floor finish here. So I actually think this is lino, although it gives the appearance of a timber floor. I'm pretty sure it's lino because there's a welded joint there. I don't know if you can quite see it, but there's definitely a joint there, so that's lino, that is. But you can see it's set out with the different markings for the different courts. So down the side, these are melamine panels. You'd have thought they'd have covered the screw holes up, wouldn't you? Put a capping on them. It's a bit poor. But obviously we've been on the other side of that, so we know that the other side of here is brick and block. Upstairs there's cedar cladding, so we've got these insulated panels on the inside. Some of them started to get damaged on the bottom there. And this has only been open, I don't know, maybe 4 years, if that, 3 or 4 years. So you can see it's getting a bit tatty on the bottom where it's had a bit of hammer. But if we're just taking a look round, so you can see the main structural steel. So the dark grey that you can see up there, the great big chunky pieces of steel, that's the actual frame. Okay, so those up there come the way down into the floor and into a bolt box. So this is your frame. And hopefully you can see at the top, let's see if we can zoom in. Don't think it'll focus when I go, oh there we go, look at that, perfect. So those silver runners that sit on top of the grey ones, those are what we call steel purlins. So the thick grey take the weight, and then the little silver ones are purlins and the sheets sit on top. Now I'm certain that that's got a sandwich board on the top, but that's an internal skin, and you can see where the sandwich board has come through. You might not be able to tell from there, but you can actually see the screw holes, the screws coming through, which again may be an error. But in your design brief, it talks about the gym and this barn being multifunctional, conference centre and stuff like that. So when we held our staff development days, so there'll be 300 staff sitting in here, presentation of awards takes place in here, and our open days when we can do virtual, when we can do face-to-face open days are held in here. So this doesn't look particularly inviting from that point of view, does it? You might notice I've opened the doors down the side, so we know there's a corridor and classrooms the other side, but there's also a pocket for storage. I'm going to go into them now, but first of all let me just take you to the bottom one. So when we want to use this as a conference centre or an outside event, and we just want to make it look a bit posher, then in this bottom store we have some very, very big carpet tiles. Okay, so you can see there's trolleys full of carpet tiles, and basically that comes a carpeted floor and looks really posh and inviting and warm. So you change the atmospherics of the feel of the building with a different floor covering. Some of you at home, for instance, might have laminate floor. I've got laminate floor, but carpet feels more homely, more comfortable, and that's what you've got to think about. Your finishes, internal finishes, will give a feel for the building. So, and this on the outside, that's all the staging. So that would go all the way down there, and again would be carpeted. So actually I think it's already carpeted. Yeah, it's already got the carpet on. And it would be faced up, facing panels at the back, and away you go. But as you can see, we've got this wonderful sports barn with a variety of different designs and finishes on the wall and colours, And then we're coming to the stores, and we've got the blockwork full height up to the steels, and it's not painted. So that's important that you think about that, because when you're doing a project and the cost of the project, why would you paint a storeroom? You just wouldn't. And interestingly enough, that wall on the back there is dry lining. So that's plasterboard. So you see where the white line is all the way up, and the white line is across the top. That's the joint in the plasterboard. Okay, so that is just polyfilled up, and that's been sanded down so it looks a completely flush and solid wall, and you would just paint that. So that's a good example of a dry lining wall that you wouldn't need to plaster. You fill all the screw holes, which is what the whites are in the middle of the board, and that would be painted. And again, that's quick and just as durable. But again, they've made the decision in here not to paint, to save money, basically. And again, you can see the purlins and the steel sheets sitting on top there. Okay, fabulous. Let me turn the light off. And I'll lock up as I go. In fact, we'll call that a day up, that one.